Hi folks, thanks very much for joining us on The Sweet Spot. It's the Racing Post's weekly golf show with Bruce Millington and Steve Palmer. We'll be looking back on another action-packed, dramatic weekend and also looking ahead to two great tournaments, one of which, the Phoenix Open, is a real cracker. It's Rahm versus Rory. We'll see whether Steve is going to pick one of the big guns or whether he will look further down the list for value. First of all, though, Steve, Planet Golf is mad at the moment, isn't it? So much going on. There was delays, defections, shocks. What a weekend.
Well, Planet is mad at the moment, isn't it? I mean, if you look at the Dubai event went into a Monday finish last week, and then the California event goes into a Monday finish. So, I know Paul Keeley's very anti-global warming talk, but something's going on, isn't it? Well, I don't know, but I just think Dubai and California, if you can't rely on those two to serve up good weather, then what can you rely on?
I suppose. What about Daniel Gavins? I mean, that was extraordinary, wasn't it? He's come down the last par 5, stuck it in the water twice, hold an outrageous putt for a double bogey, thought that was to get him into a playoff, and then only when he gets off the green and looks at the scoreboard realizes he's won. It was mad, wasn't it?
Yeah. He needs to do a bit of leaderboard watching, wouldn't he? You couldn't get a better advert for someone, watching leaderboards, because he wasn't doing that. He didn't know the situation, and it's pretty foolish if you ask me, because obviously
it's crazy, isn't it?
He could have made an easy par and made cruise to victory, but he thought, no, I'll get the driver out. I mean, the contrast between Daniel Gavins, a young lad early in his career, and Justin Rose yesterday in a similar situation. Justin Rose, so professional, we'll get to Pebble Beach Pro-Am. He played the final hole, par 5 final hole, in textbook experienced fashion, and the contrast was huge. But Gavins is a 2-time DP World Tour champion now. He came out the clouds for his first victory for a one-shot win, and then did that on Sunday.
And that's all within the last few months, isn't it?
Yeah. He looked as shocked as anyone the first time he won, and then he looked dazed and confused the second time he won. But
I know, it's mad, isn't it? Because I always place great currency in golfers who can actually win tournaments. You get these guys who are always on the fringes of the leaderboard, but they can't actually go and convert. But with Gavins, because he's won in such a haphazard fashion, I'm not sure he's actually sort of learnt the art of winning there. But
you're right. It's the most haphazard victory I've seen since Nacho Elvira. When Nacho Elvira won it, it couldn't have been haphazarder. And and we saw it again there. But I mean, I was cheesed off last week. I've got to get this off my chest, with the amount of health issues that my golfers had. I don't know whether you followed that. I mean, Sir Callum Shinkman,
hardly any of them finished. Never mind featured.
You had half of the 10 players. I had 3 tournaments last week, back 10 players, and half of them had health issues. And I mean, Callum Shinkman was the most disturbing one, because he was banging contention and then withdrew during round 3, the early stages of round 3. I'm not sure what was up with Callum, but that was a killer. Nikolai Hogard was ill for the vast majority of that tournament and still managed to contend. Justin Suh withdrew with a shoulder injury early on at Pebble Beach. Maverick McNeely withdrew with a shoulder injury during round 3. And then Matt Fitzpatrick was carrying that neck niggle throughout the tournament. So 5 of the 10 players had health issues, and I was just pleased to scrape a bit of place money from 2 of the fit ones. Adrian Moronk and Lucas Herbert.
Yeah, Adrian Moronk had a horrible third round, didn't he? Without that, he probably would have won. But he completely went off the rails on Saturday, didn't he?
He dropped 5 shots in 10 holes. Saturday was a crazy day. The golf betting can do this too. I mean, at one point, Adrian Moronk and Nikolai Hogard, my 1 and 2 selections in the Ras, are tied for the lead on Saturday, and things are going wonderfully. And then, Nikolai Hogard, I mean, he was missing tiny putts. So a terrible finish to round 3 for Nikolai, and then as I say, Adrian Moronk completely lost the plot. I mean, the eagle putt on the 18th. I don't know if you were watching on Saturday. Adrian Moronk was putting for eagle on the 18th hole. I was looking after a dog at the time, left the room with him putting for eagle. I thought, okay, he's 2-putt birdie, fantastic. Left the room to go and sort out this dog issue that I had. And then came back in. He finished the hole. I checked the scorecard. Bogey. He 4-putted the last hole.
He 4-putted.
So a birdie turns to a bogey. And then he ends up losing the tournament by 2 shots the next day. So
I need to hear more about the dog. Sorry, what were you doing looking after the dog? What kind of dog was it?
With the wife's best friend came down to stay at our house, and she brought a dog with her. Some sort of, I think she said multi-poo or something.
A cockapoo, possibly.
I don't know. I think it's a crossbreed. Something.
They're all the rage. Something poos.
Something poo. Yeah. A little one, but quite pacey. Grace is desperate to get a dog, and I'm under a lot of pressure to get a dog, and it was quite tricky juggling all that. Obviously, the girls went on for coffees and a catch up, so I've got dogs and kids.
You got lumbered with the dog and the kids.
Yeah, and then and Adrian Moronk. So that Saturday afternoon, Moronk. I could have done with a favour from Adrian, but difficult tournament.
I do think you should get a dog, Steve. I definitely.
Oh, don't you add to the pressure? I'm coming under.
Why wouldn't you get a dog? I'll tell you why, sis. Honestly, because you've never had a dog, have you?
No, I've never had a dog.
Like Paul Keeley never had a dog, and he was always, nah, bollocks that, I'm not getting a dog. And he absolutely loves Sammy. He honestly dotes on him. He wouldn't be without a dog. And I think you'd be the same. I think you'd find just that consistent companionship. And just, every time you come in, there's someone pleased to see you. And honestly, mate, seriously, you get out the house for 15, 20 minutes in the morning, take them for a nice walk. I definitely think you should get a dog.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's not easy watching 25 hours of golf at the weekend.
Watch less golf then. You don't have to watch that much golf, do you? Watch less golf. Take the dog for a walk. Honestly, you'll still be just as good. We do need to talk about the Hogarth brothers, don't we? Because we went into the final round play, in great positions, and I think they were the only two out of the top 25 who were over par. That was a peculiar thing because they're so good these days. You just expect them almost to sort of skip clear and be involved in a playoff 5 ahead of everybody else, but it didn't work out like that.
Well, you're absolutely right, and they talk about twins having this sort of telepathic relationship, don't they? Sort of, they can. I was thinking they were going to drag each other to glory. I thought Hogarth 1-2 was on the cards going into Sunday, and then they both end up shooting 73. They had that telepathic relationship. We're both going to work together to shoot an abysmal score. I thought that the Hogarths will jet out of that tournament, feeling ashamed of themselves because they have nothing to beat there. You look at that leaderboard. Once the Hogarths faded, I just thought that there's no one I can trust. Daniel Gavins, for all his qualities, difficult to trust. Xander Lombard is just abysmal in contention, and Matthew Pavon, a bottle job as well. I think the Hogarths had that tournament at their mercy and just let it slip. I mean, Nikolai had the excuse of the illness. Rasmus hasn't got that excuse. He's let a lot of good chances go now, hasn't he, Rasmus, lately?
Absolutely. Now then, if you enjoy the sweet spot, we would love you to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And comment of the week this week, Keith Lawton, who 6 days ago, so it wasn't after timing, it was before Ras Al Khaimah started. He said, great show, lads. I'm going to have a few pence on Daniel Gavins at 250 to 1. What an amazing shout, Keith. Well done. Keith, we need you to post your selections for this week before the tournament starts. I'm sure there'll be a few people fancy riding the crest of a wave there. That really was a great shout. Well done to Keith. And don't forget, get your comments in below. We'd love to hear who you fancy. Any suggestions for the show, any golf chat, any silly questions for Steve, just fire them in. Right, then let's move across to Pebble Beach, Steve, where, as you've already said, Justin Rose returns to the winners' enclosure for the first time since 2019. And it's always a nice week, isn't it, when Justin Rose wins, Steve? Because he's just such a wholesome guy, isn't he? I mean, I was going to say he's the sort of bloke you'd love to, your girlfriend to introduce you to, or your daughter to introduce you to as a new boyfriend, but probably not quite true. A, he's married, and B, he's about 25 years older than my daughter. But you get my point. He's a lovely, lovely man, isn't he? And he closed that tournament out so well. It was excellent.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. Yeah, from a betting point of view, Pebble Beach Pro-Am was terrible. But in terms of as you say, the heart, it couldn't have been a lot better. I consider Justin one of my best friends. I hang around with him on the Wentworth putting green. I'm surprised he didn't text me.
And we hung out with him at the Ryder Cup, didn't we, in 2008? He was our mate there, wasn't he? Albeit we never actually spoke to him, and we were on the other side of the road. But apart from that,
he is virtually my best friend. So I was really pleased, and it was vintage Rose yesterday. That it was a bold front running performance. Course management. Really controlled, measured golf. Never looked like dropping a shot. Put himself in the right places. And really encouraging for Luke Donald. I mean, if you've got a purring Justin Rose, that's a huge Ryder Cup asset. And since Luke Donald got the job, everything's gone right for him. This European Ryder Cup team is shaping up really well. He's got options now. I was delighted for Justin.
Will he make the team by rights, do you think, or would he need a wild card?
Well, he might need, yeah. Well, who knows? Who knows? Yeah, I think Luke Donald would definitely consider him for a wild card. He's got so many to play with now. Rosie won't get his old partner. I mean, Henrik Stenson he used to go into battle with Henrik Stenson a lot, didn't he? Stenson won't be around for that. But yeah, Rosie would go well. He'd ham and egg well with anyone, wouldn't he?
He certainly would, and he'd also be inspirational, wouldn't he? He wouldn't be one of these people who just play his own game. He'd lift one of the youngsters up with him. Now, it was a shame in a way that the weather was so bad at Pebble Beach. I mean, the final round was professionals only, wasn't it? So the amateurs had to stand back. I'm sure Gareth Bale would have been annoyed about that. He played the most amazing chip in round one. Did you see that? He was in all sorts of trouble, and he stuck it to within about a foot. That was excellent. What was your favourite thing about the amateurs last week?
Well, probably him. He is really good, isn't he? I mean, there was a lot of talk,
a
lot of talk beforehand about how good he was, and I had no idea, but I can see he has got ability. And I mean, the weather forecast was terrible last week. It was expected to be much better than that. I mean, the weather forecasters who are
the quality of the forecast,
the quality of the
terrible.
Forecast. Really, really caught me out. The weather was not supposed to be that bad, and the Pebble Beach was just a calamity. But we must mention Brandon Wu. I mean, I've spent a lot of time talking about Brandon Wu. I think that was a big check for him. Kevin Yu. Kevin Yu is another one.
Well,
it's just Brandon Wu, Kevin Yu. I've spent a lot of time talking about Brandon Wu. I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about Kevin Yu, Barney McGrew. I believe in you. I believe in you. That's the message I want to get out. Yeah,
I believe in you too, Steve. And also my man Peter Malnati. I always like backing him. He's so friendly, isn't he? He's such a nice chap. Yeah. He played very well. Matt Fitzpatrick, big blow that, wasn't it? You put him up and then he did a presser and revealed he had a problem in his neck, and that was a pain in the neck for his backers because he didn't make the weekend.
It was a late presser, and I watched all the press conferences, but that didn't come out until very, very late. But then he played well in the good weather. He just had a really bad spell at Pebble Beach in round 3 that just completely destroyed the scorecard in a flash. He was floating about, but be careful with Fitz. He's got this neck niggle. And don't forget, we've got another tournament. I can tell you're gagging to move on to this week's action, but we did have one more tournament.
I know, don't worry, I haven't forgotten. I was just about to come.
Oh, sorry, I've besmirched you there, haven't I?
Yeah, you have, yeah. I was perfectly well aware of that. We're going to talk about the Saudi International now, in which Abraham Answer won. I can't remember, what price was it, about 25, something like that?
Abraham Answer, about that, a little bit more, yeah.
But if you had a bet and you backed someone else other than DJ, this is where injured golfers help you sometimes in golf betting, because if you had a bet and you backed someone other than DJ pulled out, and of course the bookmakers don't have a rule for in golf, so you just get a better value price. So he wasn't there. Cameron Smith stacked out. Answer won it in the end. Your man Lucas Herbert played very well. You got some place money there. Matt Wolf came storming through and a decent finish. So all was not lost. Any big takeouts from Saudi International?
Well, I was pleased, as you say, I was pleased with I was pleased with our efforts on that. That was the one we got right, because we dissuaded people from Dustin Johnson. We said he wasn't be fully tuned up for that. Goodness knows how he's damaged his back, but he's obviously been enjoying himself, and the back's come into a bit of trouble. Cameron Smith never plays that tournament well, so Lucas Herbert was a great bet, and he comfortably won the place money there. I think Herbert, when there's a bit of breeze about, you want to be getting involved with him. He's over his own back problems. He had some back problems. And Abraham Answer, wire to wire victory for Abraham Answer, and the first live event, of course, is in Mexico. So I think Abraham Answer is going to be very popular for that one.
Excellent. Right then, let's look ahead. Phoenix, the city of Phoenix in Arizona, stages a monster Sunday with the final round of the Phoenix Open taking place a few hours before the Super Bowl in the same city. It's the 4th time Phoenix has staged both on the same day. I should imagine it necessitates fairly early start times for the golf on Sunday, but it will be, I'm sure the crowd will be even more boisterous. They'll be getting tanked up at the golf before they either head home or head off for the Super Bowl. So it should be a brilliant weekend. Very much looking forward to it. And the quality of the field for the Phoenix Open is magnificent. Here are some latest prices. 8-1, Jon Rahm and Rory McIlroy. 14, Scotty Scheffler. 16, Xander Schauffele. 18, Tony Finau, Colin Morikawa. 20, Cantland Thomas. 22, Homer. 25, Im. 28, Young. 30, Kim, and 33, Barr. I mean, they should be calling this the 6th major, Steve. It's absolutely superb, isn't it? What a lineup.
Well, they should be calling it designated and elevated, isn't they? They can't seem to decide whether these tournaments are designated or elevated, so I just call them both. But this is obviously the 20 million pound in the pot, 3.6 million, sorry, dollars, $3.6 million to the winner.
Wow.
This is one of those events that they're putting up and saying, look at us, live guys.
Who needs live? Yeah.
Who needs live? This is what you could have had. Playing in front of amazing crowds. This is the livers will look at this tournament with a little bit of envy, I think, because they may have a little bit more dollar, but they're not going to play in front of an atmosphere like this, are they?
They get 250,000 people in over the 4 days. It's extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah. From Friday onwards, it's just packed to the rafters, and I believe there is some sort of Super Bowl party at the venue on Sunday, so they'll be hanging around with. They've got big screens and whatnot, so it's really all happening.
It certainly is. Right then, tell us about the course.
The Stadium Course, TPC Scottsdale, Arizona, 7,261 yards, par 71, been the venue since 1987. Greens in regulation is emphatically the statistic to concentrate on. The winner of this event, traditionally pounds greens in regulation, quality ball striking, the key to success, and of course loads of bottle. You need bottle to perform in front of those aforementioned crowds. They're large, noisy, they boo you when things are going wrong down the stretch. We've had elite winners here. You're nearly always in the top 20 of the world rankings when you win this. We've got 136 players going to post, very unusual field size due to do this. It's the designated elevated situation. So Cameron Smith, obviously a live rebel, and Will Zalatoris, who's sort of easing his way in after back issues. They're the only members of the top 10 not competing. So, and the weather forecast, dare I say it is fantastic. Sunny and calm for the most part, a little bit of breeze in the afternoons.
How exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. How many selections, Steve?
Two.
Okay.
Two.
Right.
We had two last year. I knew you'd scoff at that, but we had two last year. We had two last year, and it was successful. We had the 25-1 winner last year.
I didn't scoff.
I just preempted your scoff. I know you're a scoff.
I've got no scoffing at all.
You do like a scoff.
No, I don't. The less, the merrier. That's what I always say. Or no, less is more. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, without further ado, who are you putting most trust in this week?
I think Jon Rahm is a fantastic each-way bet at 8-1. There's been a 9-1 last night that's gone, but 8-1 has still got loads of juice in it, because how on earth can you get Jon Rahm out of the frame here? Bookmakers throwing all sorts of each-way offer. Bookmakers gone, it's very competitive. Let's chuck a load of each-way terms at it. You can get 10 each-way places. Last night with that 9-1, it was with a firm offering a ninth the first 12. So you could have had your win bet at 9-1 paid for by
ninth's a bit rogue,
a ninth to 12.
Ninth to 12. Rubbish. Come ninth. That's
yeah.
I know what you're saying. It means you lose a couple of pence, don't you? With if he gets in the top 12. But I mean,
not a 9-1. You get your money back. So that excited me. But I think 8-1, 58. 5th to 10 available with some firms this week. Rahm as an each-way bet in this really appeals to me, because a lot of the other players that have got the bookmakers so excited with the competitiveness of this event are not anywhere near at the level of Rahm at the moment. And you look at his form figures in the Phoenix Open: 5, 16, 11, 10, 9, 13, 10. So nothing worse than 16th place in 7 starts in this event.
Against that, Steve, he's out of the frame in almost all of those, isn't he?
He's out. He's not out of the top 12.
No, he's not. No, if you want
I know what you're saying.
12, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. But bear in mind that 16th place, the worst of the 7, came the week after his maiden PGA Tour title at Torrey Pines. So he was exhausted. He shot a Sunday 70 in the Phoenix Open. He lives in Scottsdale, knows this course like the back of his hand. He was shown practicing with Tom Kim, your mate Tom Kim, on Saturday at the weekend. So he's been practicing at Scottsdale for a long time. Bear in mind, the players finishing off at Pebble Beach on Monday in miserable conditions, playing with amateurs in long rounds for the previous days. All the while, Pebble Beach Pro-Am's going on. Rahm is practicing at this venue down the road from his house. Like, his preparation absolutely spot on. He's a hero in these parts as well. He may be a Spaniard, but he went to Arizona State University. He's a college star, so he's revered in these parts. And I think that counts for a little bit with these massive galleries. They consider him one of their own. But the most important factor by far is the fact that he's in the form of his life. This is a magnificent, generational golfer, if he didn't have so many good ones around, in the form of his life. He's won 4 of his last 7 tournaments. His form figures from his last 8 tournaments, because this streak started with 2nd place in the BMW PGA Championship. 2-1, 4-1, 8-1, 1-7. Those 4 victories in that streak, a total of 99 under par for those 4 victories. You know, he's had the ball on a string, and the way he's playing, Phoenix Open is a perfect event for him because greens in regulation is the key to success here. He is top of the PGA Tour greens in regulation statistics, and he's massively motivated. I mean, we've spoken about this before. He's got this the chip on his shoulder about the world ranking system, and you know, this is his chance to be a top class field. You know, prove he's the top dog. I think he's got a big edge over Rory McIlroy this week. We'll come to Rory McIlroy later, no doubt. But Rahm for me, they're the same price, and Rahm for me is by far the better option for many reasons. Perhaps we'll come to that in the Rory McIlroy section.
Okay. Blimey, you're very confident there, Steve. That is as bullish as I've seen you in a long time. Right then, so one other tip, and who's he?
I am bullish. I think a lot of punters get upset when you tip each way at short prices like that, but it's very sensible. It took me a while to learn that. You need to understand that the each way Rahm bet is a really, really good value. But the next best, the only other option, just a little backup, is Adam Hadwin at 125 to 1. Adam Hadwin, get as many of those each way places as you can. This is a lively outsider, an underrated player, a 2-time President's Cupper. He's not intimidated in elite company. He was 9th in the Players' Championship last year, and then he was 7th in the US Open. I think he's coming of age at he's a 35-year-old, comfortable in his own skin, manages his game really well. Finds lots of fairways, finds lots of greens, and he loves desert golf. His record in the American Express in the Californian desert is absolutely amazing. 3 times in the top 3. He's also got a superb record in the Shriners in the Nevada desert, and I can see him going close to a second PGA Tour title in the Arizona desert this week. His Scottsdale record is solid, unspectacular but solid. Top 50 in his last 7 starts, best finish of 12th. But as I say, I think he's at the peak of his powers now. He hasn't missed a cut since the first week of July. I think you'll get a run for your money from Hadwin.
Nice one. Okay, you promised us a Rory McIlroy section, so let's do that now.
Yeah, I think we obviously must discuss him because he's jostling for favoritism, and for me, Rahm should definitely be favourite because Rahm has been imperious with the driver this year, whereas Rory was disappointed with his driving performance in Dubai. The short game got him out of trouble there. Rahm's had 3 tournaments this year to get himself into a groove. Rory's just had the one, relatively. I know he won it, but it's a relatively low grade DP World Tour event. And more importantly, Rahm has a significant advantage in terms of course experience. Rahm's playing in his 8th Phoenix Open here. Rory is playing in his 2nd Phoenix Open. And there's lots of risk-reward holes at Scottsdale. It's a great course. There's lots of risk-reward holes where you've got to make a judgment call. Rahm's better equipped to make the right call than McIlroy is, who's still learning the ropes a little bit.
How did he get on in his other spin at Scottsdale?
13th.
Oh, right.
Yeah. No, not bad. But as I say, I think Rahm down the stretch. I mean, this is probably one of the best finishes in golf, isn't it? The stretch of the hut at Scottsdale. And I think Rahm's going to make the better decisions. And Rory, as I said it before, the Dubai event, he's going to have a challenging media conference. I was spot on. There was all sorts of subjects coming his way. He's going to have another challenging media conference this week, which might distract him on Tournament Eve. I mean, you know about the Netflix documentary that's coming out next week?
I've heard about it. Yeah, I read a review somewhere where they said it was all glitz and no grit or something.
Oh, did you? Oh, right. Yeah. Well, I mean, McIlroy's the one making headlines already for the. Obviously, it's gone out to the journalists for little for reviews like that one, and McIlroy's hitting the headlines for abusing Mickelson and whatnot. So I think there's going to be lots of questions about that. Whereas Jon Rahm opted out of it straight away, said he didn't want anything to do with it.
Did he? Yeah, very sensible. Yeah. Those TV documentaries, no good comes of them, eh, Steve?
No, absolutely. Yeah. Dents your reputation though in there.
Right then. Okay, we done there?
I guess we are. Yeah. I think Colin Morikawa deserves a mention at 20 to 1. I mean, he was the closest to a third selection for me. His greens and regulation figures this year are so impressive. He was awesome from tee to green at Torrey Pines. So if you're going to have a third one, consider Colin Morikawa. But like McIlroy, he's only played once at Phoenix Open.
Jolly good. Right then, the Singapore Classic is the DP World Tour event. Obviously takes place in Singapore, and it starts early on Thursday And here are some guide market prices. An open enough event according to the market. 16-1 joint. No, on his own now. 16-1 is Robert McIntyre, and then it's 18-1 Ryan Fox and Jordan Smith. 25 Adri Arnaus, Adrian Otagai, and Alexander Bjork. 30 Antoine Rosmer and Johannes Veerman. 33 Richard Mansell, 40 Bar, all your usual DP World Tour performers lining up. Tell us about the track, Steve.
Otagai, I love your pronunciation of Otagai.
Sorry,
it's always a trick. No, I was just sort of daydreaming while you're going through there. I've always dreamt about if I had a pub, what I would call my pub, and I just thought that the Gay Otter sounds a good one, doesn't it? Sorry, I'm just thinking out loud here. Probably shouldn't do that on a live podcast.
How should I be pronouncing that? Sorry.
Oh, however you like. I wasn't criticising.
No, I'm not being touchy. I just want to know. I want to get better.
I would call him Adrian Otagai. Adrian Otagai.
I'm not going to do that. Your foreign pronunciation.
Just have some fun with it. Have some fun with it. Sorry, I shouldn't. Honestly, I wasn't criticising you.
No, I didn't take it as criticism at all. No, I didn't.
Good.
Right then.
When I open a pub, it's going to be called the Gay Otter.
Okay, mate. Brilliant stuff. I look forward to a drink in there. Right then, where are we this week?
Well, we are at Laguna National, and we're at the classic course at Laguna National. Do not be confused with the Masters course at Laguna National.
There was no danger of me being confused.
Because it would be easy to be confused, because that has hosted numerous European Tour events, you see. So basically, the only course form you've got this week is from an Asian Tour event, actually, the 2015 World Classic, but hardly anyone in this week's field played in that event. So, no course form to go on, essentially. 7,420 yards, par 72, 4 par 5s, and difficult. The course record is 67. This is no picnic for the 132.
No one's ever done a round of.
Well, it's only in that World Classic, that 2015 World Classic.
Yeah.
67, but it's billed as Asia's toughest test. They made this deliberately difficult. You got bunkers everywhere, waste canyons, water hazards, and fiendish greens. The heavily tiered dance floors. We'll be seeing a lot of 3-putts this week. You had an Adrian Ronk 4-putt last week. I think we might even see some 5-putts this week, because the 13th green is reputedly the largest green in Asia.
God.
That's what they say. So I can't wait to see the 13th green. So an extreme test of touch, as much as anything. And the weather for this one, warm and sticky. Nice. Just how I like my puddings. Yeah, warm and sticky. Gentle breezes.
Fantastic. Okay. How big's the field?
132. Yeah, 132.
132. All right then. How many selections?
5. Big prices.
5. Okay. Right then. Fire away with the main man.
I say big prices. The first one's been well backed already, very annoying, but 33-1 is still good enough for me. And it's Johannes Veerman, and who started his career in Asia and is extremely comfortable in the conditions he'll face this week. 4 of the 6 winners of the Singapore Masters were Asian, and Veerman is American. He's Californian, but he spent a large amount of his life living in Asia. First as a kid, and then as a young pro. He won on the Asian Development Tour in 2016. In Taiwan. He's had 19 top 10s in Asia. He was a top 25 finisher in both of his Singapore Open appearances, and he's found form at the perfect time for an event he's got a great chance in. He was 8th in the Dubai Desert Classic, a real confidence booster in a Rolex Series event, 19th last week in Ras Al Khaimah. It looks like he's knuckling down again, because he became a father about a year ago and really threw himself into it. Golf took a back seat. Now he's realised how expensive bringing up kids is, and he needs some dough. He needs some dough, and he's knuckling down again. So I think Veerman's going to win the $333,000 check. It's quite a decent check. He's going to win that.
It's only about a tenth of what the winner gets in Phoenix, but still, you wouldn't knock it, would you?
No, you wouldn't knock it.
What would you spend that on?
Well, I'd get the mortgage cleaned up first. Get that anchor off my back, and then work from there.
Okay, mate, nice one. So Veerman is the headline tip. We've got 4 others. Who's the main danger?
It's Gavin Green at 60-1, the pride of Malaysia. Obviously comfortable in this part of the world. He's won 3 times on the Asian Development Tour. He's always looked a class act in the making from a young age. He won on the Asian Tour in 2017, again in Taiwan. He won the Asian Tour Order of Merit that year. Some of his best DP World Tour form has come in Asia. He was second in the 2017 Indian Open. He's played well in Singapore. Not many in this field can say that. He was 8th in the 2018 Singapore Open. And his hot streak last year, he was really good at the end of last year, and it started in Singapore. He was second in an Asian Tour event in Singapore in August, followed up with second in the Czech Masters, then second in the Portugal Masters when we were on him, 7th in the Nedbank Challenge. He was really, really impressive at the end of last year. And then the close season sort of ended that streak, and he started this year with a couple of missed cuts. But, I think the rust has fallen off now, and it's a great opportunity to get going again this week.
Okay, third selection.
It's Tiger Semikawa. Come on, Tiger.
Oh, I've never heard of him.
Go Tiger. Yeah, Tiger Semikawa. I mean, what have we got here? I mean, he could be a cross between Tiger Woods and Colin Morikawa. I mean, he could be that good. He's clearly the bee's knees. He was the best amateur in the world, turned pro at the end of October last year. He won twice on the Japan Tour as an amateur, including the Japan Open. He's made a steady start to life as a pro, and he's been playing on the PGA Tour. They're throwing PGA Tour invites at him, and he's handled them really well. He made the cut in the Sony Open. He missed the cut on the American Express, but carded a third round 66. And he made the cut, and this is the one that really impressed me. He made the cut in the Farmers Insurance Open. Swaggers into Torrey Pines, hugely difficult venue, decent field, only just turned 22 years of age, no stateside experience, qualifies for round 3. I think this fella's going places fast. This is his DP World Tour debut. If you can make cuts on the PGA Tour, you can contend in a low-grade event like this one, can't you? So, Tiger's on the prowl.
What price is he?
Tiger's is 70 to 1. 70
nice.
to 1.
Okay, next up.
2 massive price ones to finish. Clement Sordet is available at 200 to 1 as we speak. A Frenchman who's extremely comfortable competing in Asia. He's a really good global golfer. If you look at his 5 Challenge Tour victories, he's won 5 times on the Challenge Tour. I'll tell you where they were: Northern Ireland, Turkey, Norway, Oman, South Africa. Really adaptable sort. Early in his career, he was second in the Thailand Championship. Doesn't sound much, but that was a really good field featuring a lot of world-class talent. He's got form in Asia, and it wasn't long ago that he almost won a DP World Tour event. You might remember this one just before Christmas. Had a ding-dong battle with Tristan the Piston Lawrence for the South African Open title. That was only 2 months ago. He was beaten by a shot. So, Sordet missed the cut in his first start of the year last week. I expect better in Singapore.
Okay, and who's the 5th member of the squad?
It's a 150 to 1 chance, and it's Joachim Lagergren, who's also made a slow start to the year, hence the juicy prices. But he was only a shot shy of the cut.
Let this guy go, can you?
He was only a shot shy.
You love him. Go on.
Of the cut line in Dubai last time out, and he fired a second round 67. Yes, it's very important for punters not just to look at missed cut and go, there's a big difference between missing the cut and finishing last place than missing by a shot and playing well the day before the cut was made. That second round 67, only 9 players in the field bettered that second round score in a Rolex Series event. So Lagergren had just got the Christmas rust out of his system for me, and he'll get back to his autumn form this week. In autumn, he was second at Valderrama, 12th in the DP World Tour Championship. And this lad, comfortable in Asia, 3rd in the 2015 Indian Open, and a great putter. We talked about those greens. I think they're the main challenge this week. Lagergren has always been a fantastic putter.
Which of those 5 would you most like to go out for beers with, do you think?
I'd like to go out for beers with Tiger Semikawa. There may be a small language barrier, but I feel like Tiger Semikawa will be a household name, within a couple of years. And I'd love to be able to tell my grandchildren that I had a drink with him when he was 22 and no one really knew who he was.
They'd be fascinated, wouldn't they? Okay, right then, let's quickly reiterate. 2 for the Phoenix Open.
Jon Rahm and Adam Hadwin.
And 5 for the Singapore Classic.
Johannes Veerman, Gavin Green, Tiger Semikawa, Clement Sordet, and Joachim Lagergren.
Brilliant stuff. Well done, Steve. Thank you very much indeed. What's coming up between now and next Tuesday when we reconvene to look ahead to I can't read my own writing, the Thailand Classic and the Genesis Invitational.
Genesis be another good one. Weymouth are playing Concord Rangers tonight, so I'm hoping to attend that. Massive 6-pointer. Where
is Concord?
Canvey Island, I think.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah. They're Essex boys, I think. Yeah. So I'm fancying Weymouth to win the 6-pointer, and we've won 2. This would be 3 wins on the spin if we win tonight. The Great Escape. The Great Escape is on. Wild Horses. Then the family are going away at the weekend, so I'm going to be doing a bit of darts and a bit of snooker, do a bit of fitness work around the dartboard and the snooker table. Yeah. I obviously I got work on, and so I got to stay and. I'm looking forward to playing a bit of darts and playing some snooker.
Text me afterwards and let me know what you're really doing this weekend. We've got big ones. Palace Brighton on Saturday, so I'll be looking forward to that.
Eagles goals.
The big rivalry, yeah.
I know all about that.
They're good, aren't they, Brighton? Now they're very good. So
is it still edgy, that one?
Very much so. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I used to live in Brighton. Do you remember? No, I used to live in Brighton, and I got off the train once from work, and then I remember there was all sorts happening, and I had no idea what was going on. And then I said to this young lad, why is there so many people at Preston Park Station? And he goes, Eagles goals, man, isn't it? It's Eagles goals.
It's still pretty tasty, definitely, yeah. So hopefully we'll get something out of that. Okay then, mate, thank you very much indeed. Most of all, though, thank you guys for watching. As we always say, do please like, subscribe, share, and comment. See if you can be like Keith Lawton and tip a 250 to 1 winner. Have a great weekend. Back next Tuesday for another sweet spot.